What's up, everybody? Aaron Jenks here. I am a sales trainer. I am a coach, whatever you want to call it, for other coaches and consultants all around the globe. I'm talking about the United States. I'm talking about Australia. I'm talking about the UK. I'm talking about all over Europe. And I'm helping people be able to get an inflow of high-ticket clients. I've actually been a sales trainer for all of my adult life. I'm about 15 years. Since I was 18 years old, believe it or not, I've been teaching people sales because when I got out, I hated sales. When I was 18 years old, I hated sales. So I would sit in the car and I would think about how I was going to bother people. I was going to think about how nobody was going to like me, how they're all going to say no to me, how I didn't know what to say, how I fumbled my words or whatever. So I basically had to figure out ways. I had to mind hack myself so that I could figure out how I could get the job done because people were counting on me. Somebody had went out on a limb to get me this job. I started out as an errand boy. They gave me an opportunity to sell, and I basically hacked my way through it, found shortcuts for getting good at sales for a person who hated sales. And so that's what I did, and I became very successful at that, broke all kind of records, and I started to train other people. And fast forward, here I am later helping coaches and consultants all around the world start to make high-ticket sales in a week. 7 to 10 days, our average student takes down a sale. So I have a lot of experience. And I'm not saying that to impress you. I kind of am because it's good, but I'm trying to tell you that because you need to listen to what I got to say because I'm going to teach you the tricks, the tools of the trade about how you can get out of average land, how you can get out of obscurity. Hey, listen, the International Coaching Federation, they're always talking about how the average coach makes about $50,000 a year. Okay, that's their test. And from the coaches that I talk to, I'm telling you that probably your average coach makes like $6,000 a year. And I'm talking to coaches every single day trying to get into our program. Okay, and they're just making $6,000 or so. They're hardly doing anything. They go to a coaching school, they get certified or whatever, and they come out, they think they're going to do good. What happens? Nobody wants to do business with me. They don't get it. They don't know sales. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to get people. They've heard about the digital stuff from the webinar guys and they're doing funnels and bubbles. They've heard about the law of attraction. They've heard about attraction marketing. Whether you're going to go out there, it sounds like getting a date. You're going to go out there and then you're going to get yourself all pretty and do all that stuff, and you're going to attract in the right customers by being transparent. They call themselves boss divas or, having fun laptop lifestyle, and they have a picture like on their bed with their mouth open. Ever seen those? Guys, it's all garbage. It's trends. The only people getting rich off attraction marketing, the people teaching you that. But I'm going to give it to you the real way, the straight up way, the no fluff, the no flowers, the no sugarcoating way, telling you what the top coaches are doing. I'm going to take the lid off and reveal it to you. Not selling you on attraction marketing, not selling you on a funnel, not selling you on a magic gimmick or trick, because the reality is, and you know this, it's common sense. The reality is you can't be relying upon any one client flow method. You got to diversify the client flow method. You got to have people coming in from multiple streams of client flow. Why? Well, because different things shift in the marketplace. Things change. So on this webinar today, this will be the best webinar you ever watch. How do I know that? Because I've delivered this talk and people tell me that all the time. Okay, they're like, this is like so groundbreaking. And I'm like, groundbreaking? This is not like a novel idea. We're talking about making sales in your business. But it's just that the marketplace has been so diluted with the ding-ding and the trinkets and the widgets and the funnel and the bubble and the this and the magic pill and the attraction and the woo-woo sauce and fairy dust. Okay? Is it right? No. Is it wrong? I don't know. I know it don't work. I know I talk to people who are victims of it every day, or as we say in the South, I'm from Atlanta, every day. I hear it all the time. People who are victims of that, they spent $20,000 on training, trying to get their stuff figured out. They go on retreats. First of all, who wants to retreat? We need to advance. Nobody wants to retreat. Ain't nobody wants to go backwards. We want to go forwards to get more sales. Why? To help more people, to get our money right. Because, listen, when we're broke, when we're poor, we're selfish. We're just thinking about ourselves. Or just what's around us, how I pay the bill, how I do this, how can I eat, how can I buy this present, how can I do whatever. We're just thinking about ourselves all the time. When we're making money, when we're rich, we can think about helping other people. We can think about creating opportunities. I've been in the office here going over 400 job applications in 2 days. Okay, we're doing massive hiring in our organization here at Jenks Training. And there's people out there, they want jobs. But you're trying to be a coach. You're trying to be a consultant. You don't want a job. You want to be the job. You want to be the job creator. How do you do that? You make sales. You get sales into your business. So I want to tell you the 3 ways that the top of the top people are doing. How do I know? Because I'm one of them. I'm one of the tops. As a matter of fact, I could say we have the best, most comprehensive, deepest training that there is. And so I know what's out there, guys. It ain't nothing very good. It's all gimmicks. And I'm okay with gimmicks as long as they're ethical, right? Because we want to use the trends but not be abused and used by the trends. So I'm going to tell you about the 3 things. Ready? So enough of that stuff. Let's get into it. The first thing that successful coaches, consultants do is a mindset shift. Because it's been said, and this is true, 80% of success is psychology. 80% of success is psychology. So you got your 80% psychology. Well, what's the rest? Well, the rest is mechanics. So then you got the other 20%, right? So that's we'll do like the gear thing, right? Like the gear. So it's the gear, it's the mechanics involved in. Well, this is huge, but mainly everybody's focusing on this. And the people who do this, they're talking about law of attraction and chakras and energies and listen, guys, I'm a simple guy. I need it to be simple. I need it to work. I need it to be a deal that regular people can do if I'm to get in it. If I can't spit it back to you, I'm out. If I can't tell you back to you, I'm out. I'm not interested. So it needs to be simple enough for everybody to get. If I got to go on a retreat and stare at my navel and meditate 50 times and humming a hum, I can't be in. I think you can relate to me. So the first thing that we do is a mindset shift. And this is not talking about some woo-woo fairy dust. I'm going to give you something for real here. Because I'm a real up guy. I'm drinking in my webinars, right? I've got some water here. Got to stay hydrated. So let's get into this. So we got the 80% mindset shift. Here's the deal. Here's the secret. Everybody's talking about being an entrepreneur, right? And not a lot of people know this, but when you sign up to be a coach, you do sign up to be an entrepreneur, okay? But you got to shift the mindset from being an entrepreneur into being a business person, a BP, a business person. You see, when you're an entrepreneur, you're like a one-man band. You're like a one-woman show, okay? You're just focusing on getting something started. Entrepreneurs start things. They initiate things. They don't necessarily run things and manage things. They don't scale things. They just get things started. So what happens is everybody is focused on the entree, okay? The entrepreneur thing. They're focused on it. That's entrepreneur, by the way. So they're focused on that. And then what happens? Well, they become an entrepreneur. They're always starting. So it's no wonder they don't get anywhere. They're always starting to try to get somewhere. So they're always focused on this. But really an entrepreneur is a step in the direction to be a business person, have a company, to have an organization. Because if you don't, you're going to burn out. So the first thing you have to do is start to think like a business person, where you can start put in an organization in place. Not right now, but for the future. You start to think about being system oriented. You start to think about, how can I not burn out? Because entrepreneurs, they burn out because they're doing all the work by themselves. You got to start thinking about multiple streams, creating infrastructure. And when you do that, it sets you in a different course, sets you in a different direction, and you get different results. Because when you're just thinking like an entrepreneur, you're just always starting something and never really getting anywhere. You follow me? Right? So it's different. You see how that works? When you're just focusing on being an entrepreneur, you're always starting something. You ain't never getting nowhere. Entrepreneurs got to turn into like a butterfly. It's got to emerge out and be a business person who works on a business and not in a business. Because if you're just working in the business, you can't really see well, but you got that helicopter vision. You can see, but not too high up like jet vision. You want helicopter vision as a business person, and that's what business people do. So as a business, you have different goals. And when you got different goals, you get different results. So the second thing, you got to do is you got to think. So you focus on being a business person and you have business people goals. So I want to lay something on you. When you have a business, you have to have business numbers. See where I'm going with this? So you got to have a goal, at least $1 million goal. $1 million, want to make 50,000. I'm going to explain to you. Stay with me. Stay with me. I'm not trying to get you intoxicated with getting rich, although you need to be that way, okay, so that you can give, so that you can contribute, so that you can be and reach your potential. It's not about getting rich. It's about realizing your potential. It's about closing the gap between you and your potential. And it's about operating a business so you can have help, so you can really affect and change lives and give yourself and your family the life that you really desire and that you know that you want for them and you. $1 million. So at least $1 million goal. Now, if you already have $1 million goal, congratulations, because it ain't enough. I'm about to show you that. Because you got $1 million. Now, give or take where you live, right? In Europe, it's different, and in California, it's crazy. And so just round figures, give or take, because I don't know where you're located. How could I? You're just watching this on webinar. You got 50% going to the man. 50% is going to the boss, the government, and he's going to take his cut. Uncle Sam is going to take his cut. So now your 1 milli, a milli, has been turned into 500,000. And then if you don't want to burn out, you want to serve people properly, right? You just want a few employees, and you can't keep folks for less than $50,000 a year. You can barely keep them at that these days. So let's just say you just paid them $50,000. You had yourself 3 people, maybe an assistant, maybe an admin person, and maybe someone to help you with coaching, accountability, and stuff, right? Or consulting, whatever your racket is. So that comes down to $350,000. So then you're going to have overhead. You might have some ad spend costs. You're going to have different things like that. And I could really easily show you how 100,000 minus off that very easily. But let's just say 50,000. Okay? So let's just say you go and you got 300,000. What was your goal? Most people tell me their goal is they want to make 100,000. Right? So you can make 300,000 if you hit $1 million. See what I'm saying? Because we got to think like a business. And this is just a little tiny business. Maybe $1 million is a lot to you as an individual. Okay? That's a different discussion. But it's not. I think everybody could agree. I think you would agree with me that $1 million is not a lot for a business. It's a little tiny business. You only got 3 employees. A little tiny baby business. It's a little baby business. And you got you here, and that's if you hit $1 million. What if you hit 700,000? Then you're down to the $100,000 mark, right? It's no good. That's not what we want. So we need to have ourselves $1 million must. You know what happens with people is when people reach their goals, they always say, what do they say? They say they wish they would have had bigger goals. So the second thing that people who are successful, right, it ain't a magic pill. It ain't a magic potion. It ain't a magic funnel. It ain't a magic nothing. It ain't a magic mindset. They got different goals. They think like a business person, right? And so they have goals in accordance with that. And then number 3, they are sales driven. Sales driven. Let me ask you a question. What's your sales background? Answer that to me. What's your sales background? You got one? Was it retail sales? That doesn't even count because you don't have to go out and get a client. You see, I'm sure you agree with me that when you became a coach or a consultant, you became an entrepreneur, right? You're starting something. But maybe you didn't realize, maybe you did, that you also became a salesperson. And I don't know about you, but the majority of coaches that I talk to have no sales training. But here's what's interesting. Sales and business are synonyms. I mean, a business is sales. If you don't have sales, you don't have a business. Sales is the most important thing in a business. The customer, getting a customer comes before customer service. The customer comes before customer service. Is that a far out concept? No, but you've got massive amounts of people who are getting into business and they don't even think about sales. They don't know anything about sales, how to generate leads. They don't know how to conduct strategy session calls, sales calls. They don't know how to close on the call, how to get paid on the call, how to deal with objections on the call. They don't know how to they don't know how to acquire customers. They don't have client acquisition skills. You see, in order to reach your $1 million goals, you gotta be high ticket, right? So when you're selling, you got high ticket because you can't run an organization on low ticket stuff. You know, you're trying to sell your coaching for $200 a month or $200 a session. That's the road to burnout. You can't create a good product around that. Okay? And what you need to have is $1 million goal at least, right? And it's entirely realistic, guys. We're talking about a business here. See, we're thinking like business people. But you got to be sales driven towards a high ticket offer. You know, an offer that's a high ticket coaching proposition, consulting proposition, not something that's low ticket. What are you going to do without sales training? What are you going to accomplish? How can you accomplish very much? You know, the deal is that people don't understand that you can't have a business without sales. But when I say it to them, they're like, oh, that's right. This makes so much sense. Of course it does. It's plain and simple. So you got to have sales and you got to be focused on high ticket. Now, in order to be sales, so these are the three things that coaches do, consultants do. Okay? And none of this is a magic pill, see? None of this is any gimmick. This is just common sense, but common sense ain't too common these days, right? Everybody is talking about digital this, or they're talking about doing some sort of special funnel hack, or Facebook ads, all of which are great, and I'm for. And you probably got on this by seeing a Facebook ad, or seeing a Google ad, or seeing whatever. But the point is that that's one flow that leads into what I'm saying next. In order to be sales driven and to have a business that you can live a life on, have $1 million goal, you've got to have multiple streams of client flow. You can't be reliant. You can't be at danger. You can't be at risk of a gimmick, of a trend, because you're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position. If you're just relying upon Facebook ads and your business primarily comes from Facebook ads, you're in a dangerous space. Because what are the odds that the digital landscape is going to look like this in 3 years? Not very good, right? What are the odds that the social platforms are even going to be here? What if they go out of style, out of trend? What's going to happen to all the people that were like, all their business was dependent upon a particular platform? What's going to happen to it? It's going to go away. They're going to still have all the overhead, though. They're going to still have the bills from the Ferrari, from the big house. You know, sometimes I see people, they get lucky, right? They go put out a course or a gimmick. They go get themselves a Lamborghini and a big car and start wearing glasses. But these cats are going to be up for a rude awakening when the tides change. They're going to be creating their next sob story for the next gimmick they're going to sell. Okay, guys? That's not what you want to do. You want to be someone that's in a strong, solidified position. So you want to have multiple streams of client flow. And so there's streams that you can have so that you could be trend proof. that you can use the trends but not be abused by the trends, that you're never in a position of vulnerability. How do you do that? Well, there's 5 client flows. And I won't get into all of them because, it's a lot of information already. But there are multiple client flows, but there's a flow from which all other flows flow out of. And that is brass tacks sales skills. Right? It's all revolved around sales. But the first flow is prospecting. Okay? First of all, it's free. Prospecting. But what's your prospecting background? You got one? You've been in sales training? Who's your sales trainer? Was it at Macy's? Or was it when you worked doing this? Was it in client acquisition? Okay? It's prospecting. Prospecting is free. And when you start to make money before you spend money, you're in a strong position. But if you have multiple flows of client flow, you got prospecting, you got referral programs, you got advertising too, you got different things going on, a thing that I call a scholarship program. You got another program that's going on that's about, you working the marketplace through various different means. I'm not going to tell you that one. I'll leave that as a secret. There's 5 flows, guy. There's 5 flows that you need to have. But it's all contingent upon the idea that you know how to sell. Okay, what a notion. You know how to close sales. You know how to sell a high ticket to support you and your family. You know how to be $1 million earner. Okay, but you ain't taking home $1 million. You're going to take home around $300,000 if you hit the $1 million goal. Now, your goals, when you hit your goals, you're always going to wish that you hit higher. But let's say that you want to have a smaller goal. You don't want to think like a business person. Well, that's fine too. But you can't get away from, you still got to know how to sell. You got to know how to close. You got to know how to generate appointments on a daily basis. You need to be having multiple strategy calls, multiple discovery calls, whatever you want, sales calls, and be able to close on that call and get over the objections that I want to think about it. You need to know how to get over the objections that I got to talk to my husband, or that's a lot of money, or I don't have the money. You got to help people. See, in sales, now let's get into this because I need to get into something that's very, very important. You got to shift the way that you think about sales. Sales is not a dirty word. Selling is a service. It's a form of leadership. Sales is something that you do for people, not to people. You see, selling is inspiring someone to take action on themselves, to take action, to make that buying decision. So I want to talk about that for a minute. There's a lot of misunderstandings about sales. And one of them is that it's a high pressure thing. So they talk about high pressure tactics. High pressure. Okay? Probably can't read that, but you heard me say it. High pressure. Now, some pressure is good. Some forms of pressure are healthy. But some forms of pressure are bad. Now, we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater, but that's what the culture has done with high pressure. Because here's what we want to do. We don't want to try to get someone to do something that they don't want to do. That's not good. See, that's the pressure that people relate with high pressure. They think of it as trying to get someone to do something that they do not want to do. And we don't want to do that. That's a fool's errand to me. That's dumb. Why would you try to get someone to do something they don't want to do in business? They're just going to cancel, right? Anyway, so it's not good for you. It's a waste of time. And it's hard and stressful. So what we want to do, and maybe some people believe in that, but I think it's ineffective. We want to have good pressure. And good pressure is trying to get someone to do something that they do want to do. They want to do it, but they're afraid. They're nervous. They're hesitant. That's the kind of pressure. And that, I don't even know if that could be called pressure. That's more like inspiration. It's more like leadership. To get someone over their fears is a skill. To persuade them to take action on themselves, to not put it off. Because if they don't close on the call, they're not likely to close at all. And you maybe have experienced that already. That if they don't close on the call when they go to check with their husband or when they go to check their finances, but check their finances, people know how much money they have, okay? That they are nervous. They're stalls. Well, we've got to know how to handle that. Well, there's a form of good pressure that's tactful, it's skilled to get someone over their fear, to get them to take action, and to get them in your program. And so that's an important skill to have. So that's a form of good pressure, right? That's a good form. That's leadership. The second thing that people have that they don't like about sales is they think about the scripted robot version of sales. So they think high pressure, they think robot version of sales. But let me tell you something. I don't believe in scripts. I think it should be natural. I think that when you're selling someone, it should be conversational, yet it should be strategic. It should be principle-based. So it needs to be, see, a good form of sales is, it's natural to you. Okay? It's natural. Natural. It's you. How about that? We'll put that instead. We'll put, it's you. Good sales is you with some strategy. Good selling is, it will be natural to you. It'll be fitted with you, except it'll be strategic. You'll know how to get over objections. You'll know how to get over fears and concerns. You'll know how to help the prospect get the money. They all got money, by the way. Okay, and that leads to the second point. Good sales is not sold. What's that mean? We don't get sold by the prospect. When they tell us that they don't have the money, we don't buy into that. We don't buy into that because, let me tell you something, in America, in the Western world pretty much, the average American is walking around with 2 credit cards and there's $3 trillion in savings accounts. So if they don't have the money, they can get at the money. They know somebody that's got the money if they want it bad enough, and that's up to you. Did you make them want it bad enough? Did you do that? So is the money. You can't be sold. You got to sell or be sold. Sell or be sold. They're either going to sell you on the idea that they don't have the money, but they're going to tell you, they're going to say this, I really like you. I really like to work with you. I think that we would just be so good for each other, but I just don't have the money. I got to talk with my husband. I got to check my finances. I'm going to get paid later. Whatever the stall is. But you got to know how to get around that. See, they have the money. Never buy into the idea that they don't have the money. Never buy into the idea that they just got to get checked with their husband. Never buy into those ideas because they're selling you. So a good leader is going to use strategic good pressure to inspire that person. You know, Tony Robbins says to never leave the sight of setting a goal without taking some immediate massive action towards the attainment. So that is so important because we've got to inspire that prospect to take action on themselves. We got to inspire them to reach their goals. They've been putting it off. If they would have known how to reach their goals, they would have done it already without getting on the phone with you. They wouldn't be on the phone with you. But do you know how to get them on the phone with you? See? You got to be someone who knows how to do that. You've got to understand how I can get myself 2 calls a day. That's what you got to, that for you. Okay, we're doing a lot more than 2 calls a day. But you've got to know how to get 2 calls a day. You've got to know how to close those calls. You know, let's say you just had a program that was $2,500, and if you don't know how to put together a program worth $2,500, don't worry, we can help you with that. But you know, let's say it's $2,500 and you're doing 2 calls a day. So in a week, that's what? 10 calls? I hope you're working 7 days a week when you're trying to get your business off the ground, okay? Say, well, the Lord took off on Sunday. Well, look, He made the universe. And the rest of it, what did you make? Okay, so let's say you had a $2,500 program. And let's just say you only closed 2 of the 10. You had a horrible closing average. You only closed 20%. Well, that's still $5,000 a week. Okay, that's $5,000 a week. So that's $20,000 a month. So, but it's contingent upon you knowing how to get the leads, you knowing how to sell on the call and get clients in to make that money, that jack, to get your money right, to secure your future, to live up to your potential, to get your family the life that they want to protect your family, to not be vulnerable. 76% of Americans live in paycheck to paycheck. Okay, that can't be you. We've got to take you out of that space. So here's what I'm offering you. I'm not trying to sell you anything right here. Ooh, big shock. What I'm offering to you is we've set aside the next 48 hours to do free strategy sessions where we're going to do a deep dive with you. We're going to hear about your program. We're going to hear about where you got to. We're going to try to really strategically help you and get you dialed in so that you can be a business, so that you can get leads. If you have no sales background, how to get your sales on track, how to close on the call. So we're going to offer you a very strategic call, a deep discovery session. It's free, totally free. This will be, look at me, this will be, okay, the most impactful call you've ever had in your business. This is going to be a very impactful call. So what I want you to do is to apply for the call. We can't talk to everybody because we already do a lot of free things for folks. And so we're very limited on talking to people. We got to talk to the right people. Okay, not every industry is appropriate for what we do. So apply for the call. I would love the honor to be able to help you, to be able to get you to a place that you need to. So you might be talking with me, you might be talking with one of our teammates, but everybody is going to be able, in our team, going to be able to help you get your sales mind right. So jump on that call. Okay, it'll be a 30, 45-minute call, deep dive conversation. And we're going to help you, put you in the right direction so that you can make sales, sale after sale after sale after sale, not be frustrated, not be just a victim, to not be used by the digital trends, but you can use them as just one of your flows. Then you can have many flows. To be a professional, to be somebody who knows how to deliver a product, how to put together a product at a high ticket offering, to be able to bring up to that $1 million goal. So take me up on my offer for the next 48 hours. We got extremely limited spaces. So if you go in there and it's already taken, listen, I'd love to be able to help you. But you need to put some pedal to the metal, right? You need to get going. You need to try harder to learn, because I think you would agree with me. If you don't have a sales background, you need to get one. We need to get you a sales background. You need to know how to close deals. You need to know how to generate leads. You need to know how to do that consistently so that you can build up a little organization. So I'm Aaron Jenks. It's been my pleasure to serve you here. It's been my pleasure to help you. So help me help you. Book the call now. Help me to help you. Okay, do it for yourself. Do it for your family. Book the call. Let's get the sales taken care of. Get on that free strategy sessions. You won't get many opportunities to be able to talk with sales experts like the way you're going to talk to us. Okay? This call, completely free, would be extremely valuable to you. Extreme deep dive, clarity session. Be the best call you've ever had. I don't care if you've been on 50 million strategy sessions. Okay? People tell us all the time, this is the most thorough call. This call alone is worth lots of money. So jump on the call. Do it now. Don't put it off. And I will talk to you later. And I look forward to seeing your business all the way to the top.